know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it back there. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it turnpike miles. Yeah, it's Buku signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things, don't even have a deal, yeah, I battle through these.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Jan Ludis, and today we have another great special guest, someone that I've had the privilege of knowing since high school and see him take his life across a number of goals, whether it was on the track, sprinting his way to championships, to graduating from UMass Lowell, to now tossing weight around in the gym as a powerlifter. And guys, when I say he's tossing weight around, I'm talking lifting 600 pounds for reps like it's nothing. Everyone, I give you Nick King. Nick, I thank you so much for being here, brother.
Hey, happy to be here. I've been watching your videos for a while now, and it's unfortunate we've been disconnected for as long as we have, but I'm glad we can come back together now.
I appreciate that, man. Seriously, like, thank you for watching, but you're 100% right. Like, the disconnect, it's crazy. Like, we were best buds in high school on the track team, winning championships left and right for Mansfield, right? And then
Yes,
college
sir.
happened, man. And it's true as what they say. College, you separate, but something always brings you back together, man. And seeing the progress that you've made on your goals and just everything you've really set your mind to, I had to reach back out to you, brother. So I'm really happy I did.
Yeah, life kind of hands you lemons one way or another, and you kind of just have to pivot with it. Ran track for many years, and it treated me really well. Had a lot of fun, met a lot of really cool people like yourself, and I just, I've always loved lifting, and that's kind of been what I've been doing for, I don't know, the past, God, close to 6 years now, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And there's one thing I want viewers to know about Nick King is he has always had a mentality. And Nick, I don't even know if you know that you have this mentality. It's just we always knew it in high school, and I see it in you every single time I come across you or see your videos on Instagram. You've always had a mentality where whatever goal it was, whether it was you wanted to win on the track or you did field as well, you did shot put, you did all the events there, or now in the gym, you have this incredible mentality. You set your mind to it, and it's whether you're competing against someone else or competing with yourself, and you can focus everything on that and achieve that goal. You can push yourself to that level. And what are your thoughts on that? Because I know so many people, they search for that. I don't know if you've had that, but I see that with you every single time I see you post something or I've seen you compete, and it's incredible.
Yeah, to be honest, like I've always been, I don't know, like an extroverted introvert. Like I never actively like seek out competition or stuff. I just love to compete and like just be around people that are passionate about the same thing as me. And that's what, like, doing these things and challenging myself in different aspects, because just as kind of a preface, when I was running track in high school and college, I weighed like around 135, 140 pounds. And after college, I've put on about 100 pounds since then. So I'm sitting around like 240, 245. And, just challenging myself from a mental perspective of doing something different and not being like, I don't want to be known for one thing.
Yeah.
And to me, challenging myself and like chasing these goals is what gives me life. It really, I always learned so much from the process too. And I think that's really developed why I'm able to accomplish these things. Cause I don't really view any like setbacks or failures as what we call them. Like it's always a learning opportunity for me. And like the only way that you really make it a mistake or a failure is if you're not able to take away anything from it. And that's what I kind of try to bring to the table each and every time I put the bar on my back, or when I stepped on the track. It's like, what am I supposed to do now, and how am I able to execute it based on what I've already done?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mentality I go into everything with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's incredible too, because we see that, or we saw that on the track, and now I see that when you're posting your videos for lifting and tossing the weight around, like I say. And it's true. And I want people to grasp everything you just said, where, you know, no matter what it is, yeah, if you fail, whatever, you're gaining something further that you can take further. And
Mhm.
I want to take that even a step further where, you know, Nick just said he does the lifting or could have been on the track. And those are competitions, physical competitions. But anyone watching this right now, you might not be an athlete, which is it's totally fine. You could take that elsewhere. You could completely learn different traits, different skills.
100%.
Like me with the life coaching and the motivational speaking, I am constantly trying to learn as much as I can in every different area, because if someone, a new client comes to me or someone needs help in some way, I can pull that tool out. You know, it's so it's always right there to bring to someone, whether it's the mind, whether it's the spirit, whether it's the body, whether it's health, nutrition, whatever it is. Anyone can try and learn a new trait or a new tool that will help them move forward. Whether if at first it's tough and you fail, that's okay. You just keep it going, keep it going. And Nick's entire story has been an entire embodiment of that message, because no matter how many times he's gotten knocked down, this kid literally gets up every single time. And now to the point where you are lifting like twice your body, with more than twice your body weight in the gym, man. You're tossing it around. Like, I want to talk about that, because before we tossed onto this video, you mentioned you've never been a naturally gifted athlete. This is just something you want to do, as you just went over. But step into that for a second. You don't think you're naturally gifted. How is it that you can push yourself to that level?
I think it's because I am a very analytical person. So like I have a very good idea of like what it takes for me specifically to succeed in different things. So like everybody trains differently, you know, or everybody has different approaches to tackling certain measures of their life. And I think just understanding like what best suits me in order to help me exceed in the things that I want to do has led me to so much success. And you know, I'm not gonna say that like I read so much about like how other people do things, because you know I think that as long as you're always approaching it with like a student mentality,
Yep.
and that there's always an opportunity to learn more, you're never going to hit that ceiling of what you're actually capable of, because there's always opportunity to learn and pivot and be able to diversify the way that you do things in order to help you achieve more. And I started training when I was about 12 years old from a weightlifting and a training perspective. So I've been in an athletic environment for a very long time. And so like more than half of my life has been in a competitive environment. And so I think just achieving goals and like proving to myself that like I can do these things. Like, you know, I don't really seek out the opinion of others. I don't really seek out the approval of others, because at the end of the day, like if you're not content with what you do, then it doesn't matter what other people think. Like you're still going to be in the same spot.
It's true. It's you against you and everything you go through.
Yep.
Right. Yep, I completely get that. I love that. And you're right. Everything you should look at, everyone watching this should look at everything from a student mentality. You will never learn as much as you can on any single subject. Everything will always continue to unfold where you learn something more, whether that is you against you, looking more at yourself, whether it's in the gym, body, spiritual, whatever it is. You're constantly learning how to unfold and gain a different perspective on yourself. And that's every single subject we can go into. In light of that, I love what you said, where the student mentality and being able to pivot, that's what the entire year of 2020 has been for everyone. You need to learn how to pivot and keep going, right? Exactly. Yeah. But I love that. And you know, I'm going to obviously put your Instagram account at the end of this video so people can look at these videos, but I want to touch on that for a second, because on your Instagram account, I love how one, you post your lifting motivation, which is awesome. But if people really dive into those, you're very open and you want to help people with those videos. Yes, you could be squatting, you could be tossing weight around, you could be doing deadlifts. But if people really read the captions and what you're writing, you're very open. You'll explain that some days your anxiety is high. Some days your mind might not be in it. And you know, I was looking at some of your videos earlier, and one of them, I love it because this is like me in a nutshell. You wake up and you don't have it. You feel it like, oh, I gotta get to the gym. And if you can just get out of bed and just get to that door of the gym, you're gonna find it. And in one of your videos, man, I loved it because you described that in the caption where I didn't think I had today, and then you maxed out and you PR'd. It's like those days come so much. But step into that for a second with me. How open you are with it, and whether it is anxiety that like may come at you every once in a while.
Yeah. So just to kind of preface, I've never been the most self-confident person. And I think that's almost part of the reason why I have been able to succeed in the different aspects of life that I have, just because like I've never approached any competition with the idea that like I'm a shoo-in to win.
Mhm.
And like I've always self-doubted myself, and I've never been a confident person. It might not come out that way in some of like the way I speak. Like I'm a very friendly person when I'm able to kind of bring down that wall. But it takes me a lot to kind of get past those things. And
Yeah.
so like my anxiety is something that I deal with on a very daily and regular basis. And I just think it's from the fact that like just growing up, and it's nothing against anyone in my life, but like I never like really got like a ton of like or sought out compliments. And so like just kind of approaching it with like a very I don't know what's a good word to describe it, but like I never sought the approval of others. So like I was never since I never sought that, I kind of just like I feel like when you talk about things, they happen to you. And since I never sought that out, I just feel like I either don't remember like the approval of others, and so I just really never thought of myself as anything spectacular. And when this whole quarantine happened, I really went through a very mental battle, because I very much for a long period of time identified my self-worth with how much weight I'm putting on my back. And when these gyms closed, I kind of had like a outer body experience where like if I can't lift weights, like people don't care what I'm doing. And that really led like probably a couple of months of me just like I went back to therapy. I went like and sought out help from others, because I couldn't identify my self-worth because I'm not able to do the things that I think that I'm best at. Which, like in the grand scheme of things, is such a small part of my life. But I think that like a lot of serious athletes are people that are very passionate about their job. It's kind of hard for them to like separate the two, because like if they're not meeting their sales quota, or they're not like bring in or they're not able to PR in the gym every day, like those things are so emotionally attached to them that like when they're ripped away, they don't know what to do. And that was me 100%. And so just kind of dealing with the day-to-day anxieties of like, if I'm not able to perform my best, like people aren't going to care. And I've quickly come to realize that like I should be proud of myself regardless. Like, the fact that I was able to get up out of bed, make it to the gym, and do something is such a huge accomplishment. And I think people set their standards almost, I don't want to say too high, but just don't set realistic expectations for themselves sometimes. And I think that leads to people not achieving their goals, because like if you're not working out on a regular basis and you try to go to the gym 6 days a week, you're probably going to burn out pretty quick. But if you take a smart approach and say, hey, okay, let's start off with 2 days, and then in a couple weeks, 3 days, and you're just able to like just build off of that every week, then it's so much more than like what you probably think it is. And I think that I'm trying to get better at identifying that within myself. And so that's kind of my story with that.
No, I love that. I love every aspect that you just shared with us. So I thank you for sharing that, because that's huge right there. Because you're specific story during this quarantine is, it's not just you. That's the span of the world at this point, where
Yeah.
the quarantine, the coronavirus, that shut so many options down for people, and it really made us all look inwardly. And a lot of people are fearful of looking inwardly because, like you with the gym, or me with the gym for that matter. I'm just as much in the gym as you are. Got to get to 600, not there yet, someday. But but I'm right there with you too, because I think that was the beauty of the coronavirus. And I think a lot of people shake their head when I say that, because I think in the whole grand scheme of things, it was meant to help us see those limitations, which anxiety, which, I think I got to give you props, man, for being able to step out of that shell. You said you went to therapy, you searched out what could help you. And there's a lot of people that could be watching this video right now that have not taken that step. And that's the main, like we said, it could take a step where you got to get a roll out of bed and you go to the gym, but you bring yourself there. A lot of people aren't willing to take the step to go figure out what's going to actually help them to bring them to what their next best self. And you did that. And, you talked about the anxiety, then you went on to how much stronger you are now. And I know you don't speak, or self-approval for that matter, you don't speak too highly, like, oh, I did this, I'm so happy I did this. But from my perspective, hearing that story, I got to give you all the props in the world, because you went through the anxiety and you said, I'm coming out better. And whether you knew it or not, you were taking the steps to come out better. And then now to be able to talk to you, for you to be able to step in front of the camera, to reach down and help someone else that could be struggling with this and pull them back up through this video, through your posts on Instagram. You took all the anxiety that you went through, you took all the struggles that you went through, and you said, you know what? This isn't going to hold me down. I'm going to use it to propel me forward. And it has, the point now where your anxiety, it could, like you said, you face it every single day, but you're getting stronger every single day you face that wall, because you've started to take the building blocks away from that wall.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping the goal with me doing this is like, I hope that me talking about these things just kind of helps normalize, like, speaking about these types of subjects in the public, because I know that, like you said, it's not just me that deals with these things, but I think that society as a whole, maybe it doesn't shame seeking therapy or seeking out help, but it's kind of taboo in some situations. And I just really want to bring light to, like, those people that need it the most. And, like, I'd like to think that I'm a physically strong person, but I think that I have this, what people think of me, and they see these things and they think that I should be a confident person because I'm able to accomplish this stuff, but I'm just as vulnerable as anybody else. And so I hope that, like, me delivering this message, and I'm not doing it for the purpose of, like, trying to brag about how was able to overcome this stuff. I just really hope that this message gets to the people that it needs to, and helps them maybe seek a little bit more self-approval and just be okay with not being okay. And I think that I hope if anything was taken away from this video, it's that.
That's awesome. No, I completely agree with that. And it's completely, you're 100% right. It's completely okay to not be okay. And that's, I think you posted that the other day in one of your posts on Instagram, and I completely agree with it. And to reframe that and reshape that so people take it even further, if you feel like you're not okay and you're okay with that, you're one step closer to getting stronger to being okay. Everything in life will always pop up where you can look at it and be like, what do I do? And in that moment, you're not okay. That moment, anxiety, that moment, stress, that moment, depression, that moment, anger, whatever pops up with people or what they're specifically going through, that poses a wall that you can get over. And if you get over, it gets a little bit weaker. So people watching this, take Nick's words, take all this inspirational aspects we're trying to put out to you, because if you can get that in you, and if you face one of those walls later today, you face that wall tomorrow, you face that wall next week, remember what Nick just said. That's okay that wall is there, but you can get over it. And Nick's proven over the course of the quarantine, I think over the course of your entire life, brother, where you can get over those walls. And, no matter how focused you may be, you are getting over those walls. And I think quarantine gave you probably one of your biggest walls you've ever faced. And you took the steps, you climbed the ladder to get over that, to now, yeah, you may face it every single day, but you have tools. You have tools that mean that that wall is not going to hold you down. And if people can grasp that, get the tools. And the tools are always right there. You search them out. If you put it out there, it's going to come back to you. That's a rule right there, but that's huge. And, you know, I love it too, Nick, because to take it even one step further past anxiety, you know, in one of your posts, you posted something that I loved, because you basically explained body image, and body image gives a lot of people anxiety. And you stepped in front of the camera, you said, this is me, I'm okay with my body. And the way the world is now, men and women shame the body constantly. And you sat there and you went right at that wall that people deal with. So you, whether you think you're dealing with your own walls, you are putting it out there to knock everyone else's walls down and helping out so many more people with one single post, man. So talk about the body image right there for a second, because before we put the video on, you said something really powerful along those lines that you're trying to help people with.
Yeah, you know, I think that there are so many things that are glorified about the human body that are like the least important thing that it could possibly be about. And I think that a lot of people seek out six-pack abs, and they seek out these like chiseled arms and all this stuff. And I'm just like, damn, I just want to be healthy, you know, like I want to be able to move. I want to be able to be strong. And like I don't have abs, and I don't claim to have abs, and I don't have like this model like body, but I'm so proud of like what I'm able to do with it. And I think that especially with men specifically, it's really not talked about as much because of how criticized the female body is. But because of how criticized the female body is, and I'm not trying to say that like we are any more scrutinized than them, because I don't think we are, but it's definitely not talked about as much. And I think that men should be just as proud of like what their body is able to do. Like these people that you see like Mr. Olympia or like these like bodybuilding shows, like I just don't know if people understand that like that is not necessarily healthy. Like that is not like what that is not longevity. They're not able to do that for a long period of time. So like if you just put that into perspective, and you just kind of, I'm just trying to like break down that wall that like you were talking about before. Is like I don't have pecs, I don't have abs, but you know, I'm able to squat 600 pounds for reps, and I'm able to do sprints over 25 miles an hour. And still at this weight, I can do that. And so like, I'm trying to get better about not only recognizing like what I'm able to do, but being able to channel that sometimes anxiety that I get from not like seeing these things, and seeing those people with washboard abs and saying like, hey, I'm content with what I'm able to do, because they're probably not able to do what I'm able to do. And that's what I have up on them, and I'm proud of that. And I don't say that a lot, and you would be probably dead wrong if I ever maybe say it again, but I'm hoping that like me talking about these things is helpful to people, because I think like I was kind of touching on before, men were supposed to be these self-confident macho man superhero like people, but we deal with the same stuff. It's just not talked about. And I'm hoping to kind of shed light to that.
That's awesome. No, I completely agree with that. And yeah, I love what you said. You got to be content with yourself. You got to be comfortable with yourself. And a lot of people, they get the image in their mind where they're overweight, where they want those abs, they want to lose the belly, they want the pecs, they want everything that you see in a muscle and fitness magazine. And with where their body type is at, it takes time to get there. A lot of people want that quick fix or whatever it is. It takes so much time, but in pursuing that, if you don't have the right mindset, if you look in the mirror and your first thought is, if you don't feel content with yourself and you don't feel comfortable with yourself, you're putting up more of those walls that we just talked about to prevent you from getting that further. And that's a whole nother topic of connecting the mind and the body connection. But
Yeah.
it's so true where your first option needs to be, hey, you know what? I know I'm overweight, but it's okay. I'm comfortable right now. If your goal is to still lose that weight, take a step to lose the weight. That's incredible for you to do that. But every step, you got to be comfortable with it. You walk in the gym, Nick walks in the gym and he may not, like you said earlier, he may not feel great that day, but he still pushes himself. He does at least a little bit to prove, hey, you know what? I did something today. And if your goal is to lose weight, if your goal is to be in the Muscle and Fitness magazine, and yet you're extremely overweight for that matter, you can get there. But every single step of the way, you got to know that you're taking a step to get there. And that should bring you joy. That should bring you happiness to know that you're moving towards a goal. And a lot of people shame their body, male and female. And like we just said, a lot of males do this. It's just they can't get past the image that the world has put on us. But if people can move past that, oh my goodness, goals will start flowing in and you'll start cracking through those walls like no other, because you're happy doing it. You're not starting in shame. You're not starting in, like I said, you're starting in, hey, you know what? I'm doing it. And if you have that mindset, oh my goodness, doors open and walls break down for that matter. So again, like anyone watching that right there, like I said, I'm going to put his Instagram at the end of this video. Look up those videos because there's so much power behind what Nick is saying and there's so much power on what he's putting out there. And I hope people go to your page, like I said, because like we've been buddies, dude. We follow each other and everything, but just seeing what you did, you impacted me. That's one person. I put these videos up. If one person gets it, that'll run somewhere. If we can get it to more people, you're helping more people. And that in itself, I think, taking it back to you, if you're out there helping people, man, anxiety doesn't come at you much more because you know you're doing something better for the world and yourself for that matter. That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and because the mindset that I really take with this whole thing is like I might be comfortable in that 10-second period that I'm typing this out, but if that 10-second moment of strength for me leads to that strong moment for other people, then I'm willing to put myself through that in order to help them. Because at the end of the day, like it's all I'm not a self-worth person. I'm not like this person that just seeks out attention of others. I want to help others. And if I have to sacrifice my own comfortability in order to do that, I'm willing to do it. I don't care if it just helps one person. That would mean the world to me personally.
Yeah.
So
That's phenomenal. That's what it's all about right there. When you can step out of everyone watching this, not just Nick, but when you step out of your own way to help someone else, you have no idea the goodness and the reward that comes back to you knowing that you help someone. That's what got me into the world of helping people from day one, because it's all about giving. And when you step in and you break through that wall, Nick, to be able to break through your comfort zone, hey, I'm going to do this because someone out there, like you're in Florida right now, someone, for all we know, in Texas saw that video and got help,
yeah.
That's not that you're reaching different spans now. That's the beauty of social media right there. As much as social media could be a bad thing, but if too much of it, but no, you're doing incredible things, man. So I appreciate you doing this video, brother. I thank you so much for that. We've already gone over a couple topics, man, but we can start to close this message out, but I want to ask you two more questions. First one lasting message. We went over anxiety, we went over body image, we went over how not being a naturally gifted athlete does not stop you. All these walls are breaking down. We talked about walls and how you can crack them down or get over them or start to take the steps over the ladder to get over them. One lasting message that you want to leave with people, a motivational message, a positive message, something else that you might be dealing with yourself that you want to help other people with. What would that be?
I think the message I'd like to leave with your viewers is I think people always underestimate how resilient the body and mind is. I think that like one thing that has really built up in people is resilience through this whole pandemic, because you know, whether you lost your job or whether you couldn't go to the gym, or whether maybe you put on some weight and you're working on getting that back off, or whatever it is, like this bill, like we're able to keep living our lives. You know, it might be impacted one way or another, whether you have to work virtually now or we have to wear masks out in public. Like this, like is an unprecedented thing. And like just knowing that you're able to be content despite not living the way that you normally live is one thing that I am definitely thankful for, is just like building resiliency. And that could be translated into out in and out of the gym. Like I talk about it specifically outside of the gym, because you know, I lost my job back in August during because of layoffs and stuff. And you know, for one thing or another, like it's been kind of inconsistent, but I had to gather myself. Like I was so down, and you know, with the gym still being closed and everything else, like I was just not in a good place. But you know, you're able to take those things and just kind of build up a stronghold of within your mind in order to say, hey, I've already gone through 12 months of this stuff. Like, and we are alive, we're healthy, we're here. And just having that resiliency in your back pocket when you face things that you come across in the future is going to be so helpful. And so I hope that people have been able to learn so much more about themselves throughout this whole process, and maybe find passions that they didn't even know that they had, but they've had to change or pivot for one reason or another, and they're able to pursue those things now.
Yeah, phenomenal. I love that. That is so true. The resilience factor. And you're right. We've been in this process for so long. People, like we said earlier, people need to pivot, but think about a year from now. You
Yeah.
got through this. You got through the mental blocks. You got through all this stuff. All these viewers right now watching this, take what Nick just said and run with it, because you survived it just as much as everyone else did. You know, you gained so much strength out of it. You used your time however you used it. Some of you used it to better yourselves in such incredible ways. That's going to take you 10 steps further to everything that you may be pursuing, that you may want to pursue, whatever it is, because you got through it. So that's huge. I love that, Nick. That's awesome. That's an incredible message to leave on right there. So I thank you for that. Last question. Where I'm going to put the Instagram at the end of this, but where can they find you? What's your Instagram? What else do you want on there? Like, where can people look you up?
Yeah, my main Instagram is Nick M King 10, and I kind of put out a variety of content. It's not always I mean, most of it is lifting, just because it's a very proud thing for me. So I just typically find that I like to post it. But I am trying to get more into the nutrition and mental health side of things, and just trying to talk about just regular stuff that I go through, in hopes that, like, if me talking about it and spreading this message helps people. So Nick M King 10. I did start kind of a second passion project in opening Pokemon packs. So I do have a second one called the pack _ opening _ king. So if you want to follow me on there, it's in my Instagram bio. But yeah, I'm really just on Instagram. You can, I mean, I'm on Facebook too. If you want to add me as a friend, you can. I'm more than happy to talk. But those are really the only two mediums that I'm on. I'm working on getting up a YouTube channel, because you've kind of inspired me in that regard. And yeah, I'm an open book, as you can kind of tell from this interview. So I'm more than happy to talk about anything.
Phenomenal. No, I love that. And like I said, guys, I'm going to put all Nick's stuff right after this video, right in the credits. So you'll be able to go right there and find them. But Nick, again, I thank you so much for being here, brother. I thank you for being so open with us, explaining the walls that you've got through and got over and are still facing down the line. Yep. But your transparency, man, I guarantee helped so many of these viewers. So I thank you so much for being here, man.
Of course. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. But guys, as always, like this message on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. If anyone popped in your head when this video was going, you know, Nick and I know a lot of people from back in the day. If any one of them popped into your head, or anyone you know, a kid out there that's struggling with these walls, with the mental struggle of COVID, or a parent, whatever it is, whoever popped in your head when Nick said something or I said something, that is a clear-cut sign that that person is in need of this video. Share this video to them so they can gain this message and run with it just as much as you might. And lastly, hit that subscribe button. Let's get that number up. Let's spread these messages to more people, because we want to help people. At the bottom line, everything Once a Week does is to put a message out there to help people. Spread them. Let's just get them to everywhere. And as always, guys, if you or anyone you know is in need of a life coach to help you get through the struggles, to get through over those walls, or whatever may pop up in your life, go to BillyGLifeCoaching.com. I'll be right there for you. But again, Nick, thank you so much for being here, brother. It was great connecting with you again.
Likewise, my man.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving